one, we are live. Namaste, welcome to another edition of Sunday Salutation. Hopefully you got a lot out from last week. You felt refreshed, you felt stretched, you felt mindful. So again, this Sunday morning, we hope that this session can deliver that awakening, that refreshment, and that reset for your working week. I will pass you over to the lovely Christine. Have a great session.
Morning everybody, hope you're all well. I brought with me a prop today. I brought a cushion with me. When we were in the yoga studio we used yoga bolsters, but I'm guessing you might not have one of those around your home. So the reason a cushion is quite helpful is it just gives us a little bit more height. You know this age-old yoga pose where we sit cross-legged. And the reason we do this so much is it opens the hips. Our lives are really linear. We do everything on one plane. So what we want to do in these Sunday sessions is just open your body, just let you feel a little bit more open, stretch muscles that you don't usually stretch. And sitting cross-legged is a really good way to start doing this. We're just opening up the hips. So when you sit on a cushion, and you might grab 2 or 3 even, it just raises the bottom a little bit higher in order that the knees just naturally fall down to the ground. If you've got very open hips, you might not need the cushion. That might be nice, you might easily sit there. But I guarantee if you sit on a little prop, a cushion or a couple, then it will just feel more comfortable. So first of all, we're going to just start by centering before we do some stretching. So if you're comfortable to do so, as we did last week, just bring your eyes to close. And if this feels a bit weird, and you don't want to close your eyes for whatever reason, just rest. We say rest with a downward gaze, so just looking down. And I ask you just to draw your attention to the breath. Just to start with, let's have 3 nice big breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And see if you can send the breath into the belly. And a good way to think about this, just as we continue to breathe, is if you're conscious that your chest is raising and your shoulders are raising, maybe just see if you can control that. Keep some space in between the ears and the shoulders as you breathe. And you might even want to put a hand on your tummy and just see if you can sense if it's rising and falling, or even feel if it's rising and puffing out as we inhale, and as we exhale, the lungs deflate, as does the diaphragm. The diaphragm moves up and the belly comes in. Just keep breathing, a couple more breaths. And I hope that in asking you to concentrate and give your attention to the breathing, you're disconnecting from all the thoughts in your head. How easy is it to do this today? How easy is it to concentrate on the breath? I'll be quiet so you can note. Can you just watch the breath? Or are you feeling a little bit like your mind is a restless chimp? So we're going to keep up with the breathing. Blink the eyes open if they've been closed, and we'll just begin our stretch. So a nice big inhale, and take our head up to the ceiling, hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, and look down at the tummy and round the back. So these are seated cat-cows. Nice big stretch as we inhale. Exhale, look at the tummy. 2 more. Inhale, and exhale. So I'm getting as much movement as I can into the spine here. All the while, just being really present in the body. How do I feel today? And then we're just going to bring the fingertips down to the ground. Take your right hand onto your left knee and twist to face the back of the room. So every time I breathe in, I'm sitting up straighter. And as I exhale, I twist to face the back of the room. Everything's looking back there, even the eyes. And I don't forget about my breath, or I try not to anyway. And then as we exhale, come on back to the midpoint, and then let's go around to the other side. So as we do this, we just want to be really conscious. How does this feel? Is it easier this side or harder? Just get a sense of what's going on in the body. Are you feeling a bit more flexy or a bit more stiff when we turn to face this side? And are we still breathing or are we holding our breath? If we are, breathe out. Then breathe in again and come all the way back round to the midpoint. Now you'll like this one. We're going to take our hands down to the floor and then just see if we can forward fold. So ideally we're stretching out the hands in front of us, maybe coming onto the elbows. And you might feel you don't get very far at all if you're in a slightly stiffer body this morning. That's okay. I just want you to note where you feel this sensation of this stretch most. Another way to put this, where does it hurt? And then just bring your hands to the floor and come on up. And we're going to swing round into our cat-cow position now. I'm going to ditch my cushion, but leave it just within reach in case I need it. And do some nice big stretches. I inhale and then I exhale. And just see again, how is your spine feeling? This is all about limbering up. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale and exhale. So please work with the breath. Yoga is just as much about breath work as it is about postures. Postures is only an 1/8 of all that we're trying to do in yoga. And then we're going to take you into a little lunge this morning. So just bring the right foot outside the right hand. And we're just going to see if we can lean forward. So if maybe this is enough, I want to just work on our hip flexors. If we can go forward a little bit into a deeper lunge, just heel toe forward and bring the body down over our right foot. And we're just going to wait here for just a moment, take a breath. See if we can release the pelvis down to the ground. That should feel nice. And then take our left hand into the middle of the mat and take our right hand to our waist. So we're just looking over our shoulder. As we exhale, let's just see if we can find a little bit more release in the hips. We just want to relax in this area. So we should really be feeling this. Maybe in our right glute, maybe in our left hip flexor. And then as we exhale, we're coming all the way back into our hands and knees position. But keep that right foot, extended. So that's coming out behind you this time. And now cross that right foot over the left leg. So the bottom of our left leg stays on the floor. It's a bit of a weird move, this one. But look over your left shoulder and also bring your right heel towards me, towards your nose. And then we're getting a really big stretch all the way through the right side body. So this is a stretch that some people think, oh, I'm not really feeling much. If you're not, just work that heel forward to the front of your room. So you'll feel a bit of a compression in the left waist, but the opposite of that is you get a nice stretch down the right hand side. And then come all the way back around to our hands and knees. And just give me a couple of cat cows just to work through the spine again. See if that's made a difference. Do you feel different right side to left side? And then let's do that little sequence on the other side. So we're going to bring the left foot to outside the left hand. So it's off the mat or towel or carpet, whatever you're using. If you have it in you, just come into a deeper lunge. If it was enough, just bringing that leg forward today, that's okay. So we always just work at the level of stretch that's right for us. We bring our right hand to the mat, right in the middle, and then look over our left shoulder. And we're finding this nice twist in the body. So there's a lot going on biodynamically here. And just find stillness. It gives you time just to focus on the breathing. Can we take a nice big breath in? And then breathe it out. Finding a little bit more release in the hip. And then come back into our neutral spine, into our hands and knees position, and extend that left foot to the back of the room. Really push the heel back first of all, and then take that foot over the bottom of the right leg, if that makes sense. Look over your right shoulder and bring the left heel forward, as if it's coming forward to the front of your room. So again, you get a little bit of compression there in the the right waist, but the net effect is you're getting a nice stretch through the left side body. Take a big breath. Think about breathing into the left lung, that's where there's space. And then come all the way back into that neutral spine. And a couple more cat-cows. So I hope that's been an effective stretch for you. We're now going to sink back into child's pose. So we bring our bottom all the way down to our heels. And just see how we feel in the shoulders today. Take a breath here. And again, be really conscious of breathing into the back of the body. The breath is always available to you to focus on. And then we're going to go for a down dog. So let's tuck the toes under and lift the hips high. Just push the heels back. So in down dog, your feet are hip width apart. So not too wide, our hips aren't that large, and not together. So we never have our feet touching. Let's just have our feet hip width apart, and we can now pad the dog, pad our feet, or walk the dog, or pat the dog if you want. That works as well. Lots of us are doing yoga. I notice our furry friends come in when we're in the middle of our yoga session. And then let's find stillness. Just push those heels down. You can feel that massive stretch all the way through the back line of the body. We're looking back to our knees, and now we're going to walk forward. So we're coming up to a standing position. I've walked my feet in between my hands. Don't worry if your knees are bent, that's okay. We're going to straighten up our legs, so get that nice hamstring stretch, before then forward folding, taking the crown of the head to the floor now, and then push the floor away. Really feel the feet and the ground underneath your feet as you then bring your hands to prayer. Take a breath, inhaling and exhaling. We're going to go with our beginner sun salutation, so just the beginning of the sun salutation. Take a breath in, exhale, swan dive down. You can bend the knees if you need to, and then inhale, look up towards the horizon line, straighten the legs, exhale, forward fold. And then roll up through the spine. We're not going on yet if you're used to doing sun salutations. We're just going to take a little couple of warm-ups. And I do find that half rise is a bit confusing sometimes, so we're just going to do that one more time. Take a breath in. Exhale, swan dive down, beginning to stretch the hamstrings. Inhale, look up to the horizon, straighten the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Don't worry if the knees are bent. We're now going to roll through the spine. So stack the vertebrae of the spine, one on top of another, just like those sort of stacking cups we get. And the head is the last thing to rise. And then just roll the shoulders back, a little bit of space. And now we're going to go on. So we bring our hands to prayer, and we inhale, take the hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half rise, looking up. Exhale, let's plant the hands, bend the knees if you need to, and then step that right foot back. High plank as the left foot comes back to join it. Now we're either going down, knees, chest, chin and chaturanga, or if it's in your practice, lower the body down to the ground. We inhale, push the floor away through the hands to raise the chest, and then tuck the toes under and come up into our down dog position. And then just either walk the dog, or pat the dog as I said earlier, or we can find stillness. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here. So if you're feeling really frazzled, if you've got a bit of anxiety going on at the moment, which is pretty common, find stillness in your practice. If you want to energize and wake up, just move. That's where the feet padding comes in, and then moving with the arms. And then we're going to take one more big breath here, working on our upper body strength, and then walk the feet towards the hands. As we inhale, come into a half rise, stretch through the hamstrings, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, push the floor away, and come all the way up. Drop the hands to prayer as we exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, plant the hands. Shoot the left foot back, and then the right foot. Come down, knees, chest, chin, or as I did before, in one step. Keep these elbows glued into your sides. It's not a press up. as we lay the chin back down, we're straight up into down dog. So there's a number of variations, a number of ways that you can do this. Just find the way that works for you. And also, different yoga teachers teach a sun salutation or Surya Namaskara, to give it its proper name, in slightly different ways. If you have done yoga before and you're used to practicing it a different way, you do that. Do what's comfortable for you. We're going to take one more breath. And then walk or step or even jump the feet forward. We'll do that another week. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, bring the hands overhead as you take a lovely big breath in and bring the hands to prayer. We're going to work on our warrior this week. So I want you to take a big step back on your left foot. Keep the hips forward and just bend into the right knee. Take the hands overhead and see if we can just settle down here in warrior. If we feel that we're really ski-whiff, nice Scottish word, we can bring our hips round to the front and we can step the left foot out to the side of the mat. That might be easier. And again, just see if we can settle down. Drop the skin of the back. You want to have some space here. We're going to exhale, take the hands behind us and push away. We did this last week in Trikonasana. So it's like you're holding a really heavy kettlebell, really nice to stretch through. And then as we exhale, take a bow, humble warrior. So ideally the hands are coming over our head towards the floor. Next week they'll get there, promise. And take a couple of breaths. Nice big inhale. As we exhale, can you release into that lunge a little bit more? Let's work. And then as we inhale, bring ourselves all the way back around to the midpoint. Fun bit now. Going to test your balance. Bring the hands to prayer, or if that's not what we want to do on a Sunday, we can do what I call the rugby player's prayer. And we're going to take the top of our left arm onto our right knee and find a twist. So if you are a rugby player, this is a great move for you. Think about all the times that you're running and passing the ball back, that you're missing that. So let's have a nice big yoga stretch that helps the body think about this. As we exhale, we're pushing down with the right hand to really draw the body round. Can we still breathe? We might still be holding the breath, so breathe out and then breathe in again. And then as we inhale, we're coming all the way back around to the midpoint. Let's take our hands down to the mat and come onto the toes of our left foot now. Step back into plank. Option to either do a cat-cow or join me in a chaturanga. Knees, chest, chin, or one staff. Inhale, exhale, chin to the mat, and come back into down dog. Inhale, exhale. We've really worked our lower back there, so just see if we want to pad the feet. And then we're going to walk the feet forward. So we're just adapting the sun salutation. Take a half rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, push the floor away and come up. Ready to do that on the other side. So we're finding our warrior on the left foot. Big step back on the right and bring the hands up high. Sink down into our position. So the yoga positions are called asana. Asana means seat, but obviously you're not sitting down unless you've given up and you are sitting down. So we want to get a feeling, a sense of just being seated here, of just resting in pose. Let's take the hands behind us, hold your hands and push the shoulders away, push the hands away so the shoulder blades are coming in to meet each other. And then we take a humble warrior, we're swinging the hands overhead, inhaling and exhaling. Don't forget to breathe and see if you can watch the breath as you stretch it out. A nice way to keep focused is to think about moving on the breath, releasing into the stretch, and then come all the way back to the midpoint. Bring the hands to prayer, and then as we did before, we can make it the rugby player's prayer if we want. We're taking the top of the right arm onto the left knee this time, and finding a twist. Push down with the left hand, so you're really drawing the body round, drawing it into a bigger twist. And again, if you're holding the breath, Just breathe out and then breathe in again. If you're feeling really wobbly, feel free to just move that back leg out to the side a little bit more. And then as we inhale, bring ourselves back. Let's take the hands down onto the mat and get ready to step back into plank. So I'm going to give you your options here. We can take our knee cat-cows, we can do that, or keep the elbows tucked tightly in and lower the body to the floor. Inhale, swooping up, exhale, chin to the mat, and then come back into down dog. Really push the heels to the ground here. Push them down so we can release the sacrum, release the lower back. And or we can pad the feet as well. Inhaling and exhaling. Now we're going to lower the knees to the ground. I just want to go into one of my favourite stretches at the moment, a stretch for the sides of the body. So we're going to leave the left hand and the left knee on the ground, and I'm just moving out to the side, taking my arm overhead. So my right foot staying on the ground, and I can even look up at the fingers of my right hand. So it's almost like I've got a strap around my hips, and I'm being pulled up by my hips. So see if we can get our right hip to touch the ceiling. And that's how we find the stretch. We've got all this space in the right side body. Take a breath. If we want to challenge ourselves, we're going to try and go into a vasisthasana, a plank, a side plank. So we can either stay here or take that right hand up to the ceiling and just release the left foot from the ground and just have a little stay here in a side plank. You can try this, and if it's too much, we just put our knee back down. And then let's swing ourselves over and just find cat-cow again. Just work to assimilate the work that the body has done. 2 more, inhaling as we come into cat, exhale into cow. And then last move, we're just going to do that on the other side. So right hand stays on the mat, right knee stays on the mat, but can you see the bottom of my right leg just swings perpendicular to the side of the mat, just to support me here. Left foot stays on the mat, left hand's really stretching up to the corner of the room. And again, my left hip, I've only got one, is just being pulled up to the sky, and that's how I find the stretch. And now I can really breathe into that left lung. Option to bring the left hand up to the ceiling, take the weight to the right hand, and just find our vasisthasana, our side plank. We can try this even for a bit, and then if that's a bit much, we can put the knee down, or stay for one more breath. Shakes and wobbles, they're all part of the fun. And then we'll just drop down into plank. Feel free to put that knee down. Lower the knees down to the ground, and we're coming back into child's pose. Push it back. We've done a lot on the shoulders, so take the hands behind you and just rest in this little ball, little fetal position. And if we want, we can rise up onto the crown of our head into hare, just where we lift the bottom from our heels, and just allow the shoulders to drop. It's quite a hard one to do. My voice has also probably got a bit funny as I talk into my knees, but just let the shoulders release here. And this is a restoration part of practice. After all that work, just take a nice big breath. Inhale, and exhale. And then we're just going to come back onto our knees again and swing around into a seated position. Next week we're going to be working much more on hamstrings. We're going to do some stretches for our legs. But just before we come to lying down, see if you can just reach for your toes and just give us a couple of breaths. I'll talk this through with you in more detail next week, but we want to inhale, inflate the belly, and then as we exhale, draw the belly up and out of the way so the torso lowers down towards the legs and you get this lovely hamstring stretch. One more breath, enjoy, if that's the right word. And then the next time we exhale, we're just going to release, bring our body up and lie down on the mat. Just bring your right knee into the chest, give it a nice big squeeze, and start circling both ankles. I don't mind which way, go freestyle, and then we'll just do the other leg. So lay the right leg down, bring the left one in, and start circling the ankles. You can go first one way, then the other way, just figure of eights, get creative, and then lay yourself down. We're just going to bring the soles of the feet to the mat, so the knees are pointing up, and just drop the knees over to the right hand side. Take the head over to the left. So this is called a supine twist, and it's so good to do it first one side, then the other, at the end of any yoga practice you do, just to neutralise the spine. So as we exhale, draw navel to spine and bring the knees up, and then go over to the other side. So the knees flop over to the left, the head goes over to the right, and just take a breath. Inhaling, and you can even sigh it out. When we sigh, we open the mouth, and then just let go, release. And then as we inhale, navel to spine, bring the knees up, and get ready for our Savasana. You've earned it. And we take the right leg along the mat, the left leg along the mat, and then turn the palms of the hands up. So you're literally supine, you're just lying, and we can forget now about the body. So this is the fun bit. If you just tuned in, you're tuning in to see a woman just lying down on the ground. But this is what we want. Even though you're dying, even if you're dying to get going, you feel very invigorated this Sunday morning. Just take time for the body to assimilate the stretches that you've done. Be a human being rather than a human doing. It takes practice. So if you're comfortable to do so, just bring the eyes to close and stay lying down. Just stay lying here. Savasana means corpse pose. And I just want you to see if you can bring your attention just to your feet, to the soles of your feet there. So you're not trying to change your feet, you're not trying to move them in any way. Just bring your full attention. And then we're just going to move to the knees. Can you hold in your full attention, in your full awareness, your knees? Make sure you're not clenching the knees and pulling up the kneecap, the patella. Just release. And then bring your attention to the hips. Can we just release the hips to the floor? Make sure that we are not holding tension in our thigh muscles. And just relax. And then just move to the shoulders. Again, we can often hold a lot of tension in the shoulders, so just relax, just let the skeleton just sink down into the mat. And then to the jaw. The last place we hold a lot of tension is our jaw. Just see if we can release any tension there. Make sure we're not clenching, let the tongue be heavy in the mouth. And just get a sense of the body just lying here on the mat. And we're just going to be here for 2 or 3 more breaths. And I'll be quiet so you can just be. And we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths now. So that is a big breath in through the nose. Really fill the lungs. And then open the mouth and just sigh out. 2 more times. And then just let the breathing return to normal. And just note what's in the mind. As you wiggle your fingers and toes, And just stretch as you need to stretch on the mat. What do you need to do? What's your body telling you need to do? And then just roll over onto your right hand side. We're just coming up to our seat again. And let's see if you can end in the same position that you've begun in. How do you feel? Do you feel a little bit more open in the hips, in the shoulders? Just check in. And then just bring the hands to prayer. We'll say our special yoga word. Thank you, everybody. Namaste.